Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining another episode of A Place for Joy podcast and Brunch, the Girlfriend Hour. I am your host and creator, Joy Rice, and today I have a wonderful guest with me. But before I introduce her, I want to say thank you through the guests that are there in front of me. You can't see them, but they are here live and in person. They have enjoyed their wonderful brunch. So if you ever want to have this experience in person, I suggest, first and foremost, you need to be in Huntsville, Alabama. Purchase a ticket at www.aplaceforjoy.com/podcast-brunch. Be in the room. The next one is January 24th. The tickets should already be live so that you can join us. But I do want you to enjoy the conversation. Today, we are talking about greatness. It already lives inside of you. You were born with it. You are fantastic. And again, my wonderful guest, Miss Tiffany Draper, who is a native of Huntsville. And one of the things that makes Tiffany so great, besides being a mother, a speaker, a serial entrepreneur, is the fact that Women's Expo, Huntsville, year 6, bold. Yes, bold and fearless. I don't know if that goes with it, but it does go together. Um, this is her. This is she. So
It is I.
it is you. She knows a thing or two about being great, not because of what she's done, just because of who she is. But God has allowed her to use who she is in all of her humility to build. And I just said something this morning. In order to build anything great, it requires you to put in the work. It requires you to build a strong foundation. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but I promise you, if you will dig in and build, you will reap the benefits. Just like building a house. Takes a long time. It's like, are they ever going to start putting up the walls? Baby, let them get the foundation set so that you don't have any cracks in your wall. And it's going to give you a lifetime of an investment. So, Miss Tiffany,
Hey, girl.
how are you?
I'm good.
Let's jump right in. If you had to tell anyone about being great, starting from the beginning, what would it be?
I feel like that's a very loaded question
Mhm.
because it comes with greatness comes with pushback. It comes with you having to really kind of die to self, flesh. Um, it's something that has to be in you and not really on you. Because every day you have to wake up and choose to be great. And yesterday I woke up and chose not to be great. I was like, yeah, no, this battle is just too much. I don't want to do this anymore. And these are just things that I was just saying to myself, right? I was like, you know what, 3 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm done. This is too hard, right? And I was about to get on Facebook, make a post, and my friend called and she was like, I just want to tell you that you are so great. And I was like, where is this coming from? Right. And so, but my whole intention was to get on Facebook and to say how great I wasn't. Right.
Mhm.
And yeah. Yeah. So sometimes we need those little reminders, and sometimes they come, God will send those people to you in the form of just a simple message or, hey, I just want to let you know you're great, or don't give up. And sometimes that's the fuel that we need to kind of fuel whatever greatness that we have in us. So um, greatness is something that you choose and that you choose to live every day. We make a choice, like I said, every day to get up and not be great or be great. And today I chose to get up and support you.
It's great.
And be great.
What I love about what she said, and again, this is the space where you can just be true, open, vulnerable, relaxed. It can be maybe uncomfortable at first if you're not used to it, but you cannot deny the presence of community. You cannot deny the presence of love, of joy, of peace. And I promise you that is by design. This is what this space is for. And what she had is what we all need, somebody to come alongside of us and help us with our gate, our mouth. Because had she not picked up the phone or had they not decided to make the phone call, she was getting ready to speak the opposite of life. But she got a reminder and she accepted the reminder. So you can be surrounded by greatness and not accept it, even though it's already inside of you. Like if you take a match out of the box, you're only going to strike it on the side of the box so that you could light something else. But you could take that same match and light the whole box and we could burn everything. I want you to be a match. I want you to be a match. There are a few things that I looked up about how we are great, not just in words, but scientifically. And then, of course, a few things that we know. You guys ever watch those videos of girls with their guy, and it will be some type of exercise that they say that men can't do this. Like one is take a step back from the wall, put your head against the wall, and pick up a chair. We women can do that. Men cannot. Cannot. It is scientifically, physiologically impossible for them to do that. And it looks like something that's so simple. It's just a chair. It's not heavy. But for whatever reason, their bodies are made, they can't do it. That's not the only one. And we were made to carry, we were made to produce, we were made to push, and we are born with greatness. I know everybody is not a mother, but our mothers, not only did they carry us, but they also carried our children. Because girls, we're born with all the eggs that we will ever have. That's wow. So you carry, whether you birth them or not, generations. And it doesn't mean if I never push a baby out that I'm not going to birth the generation. Absolutely, you are. Because you're going to birth out greatness in all that you do. Words shape our neural pathways. When you speak something, are you going to go left or are you going to go right? What you say to yourself matters more than you think. You want to pair it with a scripture? Proverbs 18 and 21. Your brain can literally rewire your thoughts. I remember, and I think we all can, they'll say, oh, those teenage years when they're just going through their phase, when they're mad and have attitudes. And I'm sure some can attest, my self-esteem was in the garbage. I thought the worst about myself. And a cousin came over and she wrote down some affirmations on a paper and she said, I want you to say these every day until you have it memorized. And some days I would say it with tears running down my face. And it started with, I'm blessed, I'm great, I'm strong, I'm peaceful, I'm positive, I'm encouraged, I'm loved. And some days I didn't believe it, but I needed to rewire my brain and get my self-esteem out of the garbage. So change is possible. Sometimes we can feel like we're stuck in such a place where, well, this is just it. No, this is not it. There is more. What I love here is that we have community and connection, and it happens organically. Like you introduce yourself to one or two people, and we're walking out as best friends. But science says that women heal and thrive faster in relationships. And this is what we're doing. Isolation kills greatness. You thrive best in community. You want to say to that?
I have a lot to say. Um, so a lot of people don't know, and I'll share it for the sake of the conversation. The Women's Expo was started purely based on a need to invite myself into rooms that I normally probably wouldn't have never been invited to or would want to go in. I have always felt like I was a safe place because I could identify and relate to other women, girls who just wanted everybody to get along, right? And so when that doesn't happen, it bothers me because intrinsically that's who I am. Like, I just want us all to play together and get along, right? But that never really happens, right? For whatever reason. Um, so my thought process was we need a community. And honestly, when I started the Women's Expo, it was a calendar filler. This is the most beautiful accident I have ever had in my life. I did not want this. I didn't want to be inspirational or be inspiring because I didn't think I could be. But coming from someone who was in one of the most broken places in my life, God made this into something that I did not ask for. And every year, almost once a week, I'm like, are you sure you got the right person? You know, because I can't. But then I had to change my mindset about what I had been given because this is a gift. And we know that our gifts make, room for us. So the room has expanded, right? And I'm still kind of dealing with a room this size, even though physically I'm there, in a bigger space, but mentally I'm still like at Studio 53, having my events, right? Because I still can't believe that this is what happened. But in doing so, in 2018, I was on life support due to respiratory failure and intubated for 3 days. And so, when I came to, I asked my mom, I said, were you holding my hand? She was like, no, I never came to you and touched your hand because they wouldn't let me. And so all I could remember is this big bright light. It was bright and something reached out. Somebody reached out for me. But then the hand just kind of drew back and they asked me a question. And they were like, I love you, but do you love you? And I was like, yeah, I love me. But anyway, it was just a moment where I guess I was on my way out. That's the only way I really know how to describe it. Um, and that's all I remember is being at this point where I was reminded of that I needed to show myself some love. I had been pouring out so much and not receiving that I was reminded in that moment, like, all right, I'm gonna let you go back, but I need you to start pouring into you, right? So I honestly feel like, God allowed me to come back and fulfill this purpose, not just for me, but for other people, women specifically, who feel that they don't have this community, right? And don't get me wrong, I feel like we're all an acquired taste. You know what I mean? Some people like you, some people don't, but it does not matter who does or not, right? The good thing is that you know who you are. Once you find out who you are and whose you are, you will be able to move in rooms and circles that you otherwise may have not been invited in. So when people are saying, "Oh man, they never invite me," or they never call me, I don't know what I've done wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. Maybe God is asking you to build your own table and invite other people to that table. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's nothing wrong with going to break bread at other tables as well,
That's
right?
right.
The difference is that some people want to be a match and some people want to be a lighter. I desire to just be engulfed in flames so I can spread my fire to everybody, right? But my thing is, and I know a lot of people remember the episode where Oprah was like, "You get a car, you get a car." And in me, I'm like, "You get a friend, you get a friend," like, because I just feel like we can all get along and coexist. So for me, community is everything because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have people who wanted to befriend me. I didn't have people who invited me. So I just found myself inviting people. "Hey, you want to go out to eat? You want to go play? You want to do this?" But I found that when I turned 40 a couple of years ago, I'm 43 now, I was like, I don't really know if I want any friends, like I spent all my life trying to have these friends that didn't really want to friend me. You know what I'm saying? And so having friends, I got hurt because we think that when we have friends, we're supposed to be able to share. And don't get me wrong when I say we think. I feel like if you have a friend, you can share your life, your stories, your excitements, your hopes, your dreams, your disappointments. But if you have a friend who is not pouring back into you the way you're pouring back, because I believe that relationships are reciprocative. They should be anyway, right? Not not as a if I do this for you, then you got to do this for me. No, not that. If I get up and I decide that I'm coming to see you, not for anything else, I'm just coming to see you. Like I'm just coming to support you. You don't owe me anything. I don't need anything from you. And I'm even going to pour back into you because that's who I am, though. Everybody's not built like that, and that's okay. But as a community, I think that it's important to have somewhere where you can go and be vulnerable and share your feelings without everybody else knowing your business, without everybody else judging you and saying, I thought I knew her, but child, I really know her now. And now, before you know it, all your business is out there. But for me, I really just wanted to make sure that women had a place to break bread, pour into each other, exist, and for nothing else, just be seen. Because a lot of times we diminish ourselves and our light so that we can be seen. But I have found out, which is one of the things I wrote down on my paper, that I don't have to stop being a bright light. I don't have to. I saw something the other day, and this is probably going to go against everything you believe in, and I'm sorry. But somebody said, "You know what? If you can't digest me, you can choke." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so harsh. That's so harsh, but it's so real though, right?"
But you can.
But you can, I just, and I just want to make sure that people understand that just because you feel some type of way about me or whoever else and what they're doing doesn't mean that your light doesn't shine bright too. I can stand beside Joy and she be Oprah. I don't have to be Gail. I could be somebody in the audience. Because guess what? Wherever you are, if we're attached, and I'm going to be there also, right? And it has nothing to do. But people think there's just because you're somebody great that, "Oh, you're looking down on me, you're not great." No, we both can be great. We both can coexist. And I think that's the part. You get that later on in life. Some people get it before that. And kudos to those people who understand that you can be great and stand beside greatness at the same time.
Yeah.
Some people don't see that. Some people just think that we're always in competition. I don't see that. So, hey, I'm losing my hair. It's great here, It's actually not, but here we are. So, but yeah, like I don't feel like I'm any less than because I have no edges. Life's just taking me down through there right now, and it's okay, and let me tell you something. I am doing the best. I am fighting for my life out here. But you know what though? I'm happy. I'm happy. At the end of the day, I'm happy. So community, I know I have people who love me and who cheer for me and who root me on. And it is the very thing that I need to move about my day and to move on with life. And so I appreciate people like Joy and Miss Teresa and other people in my life who call and say, "Hey girl, I got you. Whatever you need, don't stop, keep going." And that's the fuel that some people need every day that y'all don't know. We just need somebody to check in and say, "You got this. because
Yeah.
I didn't have it yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't make that post. It didn't make it. So
Did not make it. And I'm glad,
I wanted to make it.
because greatness. So, being the seed behind Women's Expo, last podcast in brunch, my dear veteran friend and sister who also lives here in Huntsville talked about mustard seeds and how we always hear about how small they are. And as a child having questions, I think she said she was 12, like, wait a minute, why do we keep talking about this tiny seed? That she went home and she researched it. And when a tiny mustard seed is planted, how big the mustard plant grows. You want to know more about that episode, you need to go back and watch it. But being willing to be the seed, because seeds have to be buried, left, forgotten about, in the dark, and then seeds break open. Their outer shell has to come apart before they can sprout. Being willing to be that seed. And I know you don't know exactly, but how much, and it's not just foot traffic, how much impact, if there were a number, let's just go with last year, came through Women's Expo here in Huntsville, Alabama, at the Von Braun Center?
I'd say about maybe last year, 24, probably about 2,200 people. 2,200 people. At least that's what we counted, like with the door clickers, and we counted the vendors, we counted the people who were there performing, we counted the parents of the children that were there dancing, H-Town line dancers, the security, the traffic, the people who were just passing by at the VBC, stopping in from like the Havoc gangs and all the type of stuff, 2,200 people. And if you are able to reach just one person, that's good, right? Because otherwise, that exposure, right? Just
Wow. 2,200 people. Now, I know this year you're scaling down just a little bit.
yep, yep.
Talk about it. Give all the deets. Give the date, the time, the location, because you have time to get there. It's in March.
Y'all got a lot of time. So I tell my team, so I have volunteers and they've been with me for the last probably 6 years. And I tell my team all the time, for y'all, it's 6, 7 months away. For me, it's tomorrow. It's always tomorrow for me because being an event planner just by trade, just owning the studio and just doing that every day, like just it's always the next big thing for me. I work on the expo for a total of a year. So this year's expo was over, I think the last day of it was March 30th. Well, I went back to work the next day, March 31st. I was over at the West End courting them, having a date with them. We had lunch and everything. I was like, this is what I need. This is what has to happen. I decided to scale down because I felt like God wanted me to do was a little bit something more intimate. And it was good for me. Only thing I didn't really care for is the fact that we sold out of vendor spots in like 2 weeks. I wasn't prepared for that. But the difference between having 60 vendors and 140 vendors potentially is just, it's different. But you would think on year 6 that I'd be prepared. I'm always shocked and amazed. Every time something happens, I'm like, oh, wow, I can't believe that happened. And everybody else is like, you didn't think that was going to happen? I was like, no, I didn't. Because I always tell people, I even tell my mom, and I've shared, a lot of people don't know this, but I don't mind sharing with y'all. My mom is just in one of those places in her life right now. Back in February, we found out that she has early onset dementia. And so imagine starting a job. I started a new job in February, starting a new job, finding out about my mom having this 2 weeks after I started that job, and then having to plan this expo earlier this year in March and having to deal with all that at the same time. And it was devastating because I'm like, what do I do with this? But thank God, for people like Teresa and, people who have been able to help me get through. It's just been kind of rough. But anyway, for nothing else, I asked God, I said, I'm kind of tired of being over at the BBC. And not that anything is wrong with them, but everything is so expensive. And we know that mortgages, places to rent, going out to eat, groceries. I had 2 bags the other day and I spent $100. I'm trying to figure out what I got because I didn't come home with any of that. But I don't understand what's happening. But for me, I wanted people to understand that this has nothing to do with money, right? Every year I walk away from the Women's Expo without any money, right? It's draining to me. Everything that I get, I pour into that event, from the chairs to the tables to the drapes to the entertainment, the swag bags, and we get sponsors and stuff, but a lot of them sometimes are just in kind, and that's fine too. But it's never enough. So I think it costs me about $65,000 to $75,000 to put this event on every year, and a lot of people don't know that and realize that, and that's fine. They don't have to. What they do need to know is that I worked my butt off for a whole year to make sure that this event, this 3-day event, which was once a 1-day event, happens. And so God hasn't told me to scale back yet. Instead, I just keep adding more to it. Oh, okay, well, maybe we can have yoga in the courtyard, and like we can have Cardio Factory come out, do a class, and maybe we can paint in front of the water and have the gondolas out there. It'll be a great thing. And meanwhile, my budget is like, what are you talking about? We ain't got no money. Like, where are you gonna get said gondolas from? Like, I don't know.
PTO. Prepare the others. Prepare the others.
It's just hard because, and I saw this post that I came across the other day, and it said, don't worry about the vision. If God gave you the vision, then he will fund the idea, right? And I'm like, oh my God, well, where is the funding? So Friday night is a gala, March the 27th. So this year we will be getting a proclamation from the city of Huntsville. Well, and next year for 26. So finally, I feel like we're getting somewhere. We're making some type of strides. But let me just be clear about Sam finally, because I don't want to take anything away. You don't need anybody to clap for you. I'll say that, right? You don't need nobody to clap for you. You don't need nobody to show up for you. You don't need anybody to acknowledge you, which is what I have found out. Accolades and credentials and people saying things and nominating you for things are great, right? But at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror and you figure out who you are and you know who you are, all that stuff don't mean nothing. That's just small compared to what you believe about yourself. Because for so long, people were awarding me, giving me different things. I still didn't believe that walking out of the door. Oh, she's so great. She's that. Meanwhile, I'm in my car crying all the way home because I don't believe that. I'm broken. But once I pulled myself out of this deep, dark hole that I was in of not feeling broken, not dealing with the different things I had gone through, I wasn't able to receive any of that. It wasn't until I was like, okay, God, what do you want from me? And that's how I had to talk to him, because we're supposed to be homeboy and homegirl. What's up? Like, this is not, and that's the kind of relationship I have with God. I don't know how y'all talk to him, but I'd be like, nigga, what are we doing? I do not like you right now, because I'm not sure. And I love you, but I'm just saying, like, this is not the type of relationship that I desire to be in. You said that I could have everything that I wanted in your word, but it's not mathing right now. And so my point is to all of that is that believing in myself every day is an uphill battle, right? But Friday, March the 27th is a gala. We're going to be honoring some people, announcing our Woman of the Year. And it's something that I do every year just because I feel like women should be highlighted. And I like to find those people in the community who are doing things, like just people who are overlooked. They could just be picking up the trash out in the parking lot. That deserves to be recognized, right? Because it's something.
It is.
I'm not going out there doing that. You know what I'm saying? But that person is, right? And then, of course, Saturday is the expo from 9 to 3. During that expo, like I mentioned, we'll have like 3 or 4 different classes, whether it's yoga, Cardio Factory will be there. And I think I've got one other class to announce. And then shopping with our vendors is from 9 to 3. We have a panel of speakers, we have classroom settings, and we have childcare this year, and it's free of charge. So you bring your children after you pay your ticket. Right. So it's $25 to get into the expo. Now, we will have a meet and greet on January the 11th over at the Sherney Legacy Center. I think that's what it's called. But it's free and you just come in and we're just going to talk about the expo and what it is because a lot of people don't know about it. And I'm bad about saying, you ain't never heard of it before. Like I be posting all the time about it. But just because I'm posting doesn't mean that everybody knows about it. So it's March the 27th through the 29th. It's over at the Westin at Bruce Street. And I wanted it to be there because I felt like there were so many other things that people could do. At the BBC, you had to pay for parking, you had to walk around and you had to eat their food. Well, if y'all don't want to eat the food, because we ain't got no food no way, but if y'all don't want to eat the food over at the Westin, you can go to Connor's, you can go to the anywhere.
Cake Factory.
You can walk around, you can stay at the Westin. You don't have to go home. Please stay at the Westin so I don't have to pay for that room block. But you could stay, and then Saturday night we're having a pink boss's pajama party, and so you just wear your pajamas. Rashida Wilson will be there as our keynote that night. And we're just going to talk about all things bosses, like how to boss up, what do we need to do, to stay in this space? Because a lot of people say they're bosses, but are you really? There's more to just putting money in the bank. It's more than just signing checks. It's more than just saying I'm a boss. Like, what are you doing because it's, boss is perspective. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. And then on Sunday, the 30th or whatever, the 29th is the brunch, the farewell brunch. And so it is church, without saying that. And so I don't want to scare people away from not coming, so I don't say it's a worship service. I just say, come in, we're going to have a good time, and so they're coming like, oh my God, it was the best time of my life. And I'm like, yay, good. And so, my intention is not to make people cry or not to make them feel emotional, but I feel like impact is so important. Somebody asked, they were like, what do you want to be remembered for? I just want to be remembered as somebody saying, you know what, she did everything she was supposed to do while she was here. That's it. Here lies the person who worked all the time. And that's one of the things that I'm leaving in 25 too, is that I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna take some time for myself because I work all the time. This is probably one of my first Saturdays off since July.
Yeah.
I work all the time because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm full time. I left the city of Huntsville 3 years ago. I left that job in February once I found out my mom had, her diagnosis. And I don't know how I've been making it. It's God's grace. I'm not really sure what this is. It don't even make sense. The fact that I'm able to be up this early and sit with y'all and have this conversation. And it's just a full circle moment for me because I'm thankful, to even be able to be here today. So Joy asked me on my way back home from a cruise we went on for Thanksgiving. And I was like, whatever you need, I'm there, and I am not a morning person. I know you can't tell, baby, I am not a morning person, but this doesn't feel pressured at all. This is super organic. And Joy has such a sweet spirit, and such a good heart. Like it's undeniable. Like just her character speaks before she even walks into a room. Like she's just super joyful. And so your mom did good when she named you because you are such a joy, such a light. And I just pray for your endeavors. This is going to be so big, and it's big now, right? But I just want you to keep going and know that whatever you need, I'm here. I'll hold the light up so you won't have this much light. I'll be dark on that side for you so it won't be a glare. Whatever you need, I'm in your. So,
Tiffany, thank you so much for being here with us today. So, although the conversation right here might end, the conversation right here is not going to end because there are definitely a few more keys of greatness that I want to share with you. I've had the ladies that have been in the audience do an exercise. And if you want to do it, you can too, especially if you're watching this before 2025 ends or whenever you watch it, because it's just going to be here. Write down the things that you're not going to take into the next season, the old you that you're putting away, what no longer serves you, what you're not going to put up with. And the reason you're doing that is so that you can have room to receive what's next. So they're going to get another exercise. If you want another exercise, there is an invitation. All things A Place for Joy are at www.aplaceforjoy.com/connect. As a certified life coach, speaker, wife, mother, teacher, all the things inspirational to get you from where you are to where you want to be are what I am about. There are plenty of resources there that you can find. I want you to come along on the journey. There is a community that is waiting just for you. There's a safe space where you are not only seen, heard, but you are encouraged to grow. You are held, you are uplifted, and I want you to be there with us. So, thank you for watching.